Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In previous video we discussed about the question of first chapter, and today we continue the others question of first chapter. Now the question number 8 is, why is reproduction essential for the organisms? Reproduction is essential for our organisms for their existence. If some organism is disabled to reproduce, it will be extinct from the earth. For their existence, reproduction is essential. Reproduction is a fundamental process of all living organisms. It is a biological process through which living organisms produce offspring similar to them. Reproduction ensures the continuance of various species on the earth. In the absence of reproductions, the species will not be able to exist for a long time and may soon get extinct. Now, difference between sexual and asexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, it involves a fusion of male and female gamete. And in asexual reproduction, it does not involve the fusion of male and female gametes. And number 2, it usually requires 2 different individuals, and it requires only 1 individual. And the third difference is, in case of sexual reproduction, the individual producers are not identical to their parent and show variation from each other and also from their parents. As we know, in case of sexual reproduction, there occurs fusion of 2 male gametes, fusion of 2 gametes, that is 1 male gametes and female gametes from different parents. That's why the individuals produced due to sexual reproductions, they are not identical to their parents or among themselves. And in case of asexual reproductions, the individuals produced are identical to the parents and are hence called clones. As in case of asexual reproductions, there only 1 parent is involved. That's why there is no fusion of different gametes and the individuals are identical to their parents. Sexual reproduction, it is a slow process, and asexual reproduction, it is a fast process. Why it is a slow process? In sexual reproduction, there occurs many events like gamete fusion, zygote, production of zygote, then embryogenesis, etc. And asexual reproductions, there is not so many events. That's why it is a fast process. Next question is, why is the offspring formed by asexual reproduction referred to as clone? We previously discussed about clone. What is clone? Clone is the individuals that are morphologically or genetically similar to their parents or among themselves. As in case of asexual reproduction, there only 1 parent is involved and there is no fusion of male gametes and female gametes. That's why the offspring that is produced, they are identical to their parents. A clone is a group of morphologically and genetically identical individuals. In the process of asexual reproduction, only 1 parent is involved and there is no fusion of male and female gametes. As a result, the offspring so produced are morphologically similar to their parent and are thus called clones. In case of clones, the character of parents transferred into their offsprings. Now, what is the beta mode of reproduction? That is sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction, and why? Obviously, the sexual reproduction will be the beta mode of reproduction. As we know, in case of sexual reproductions, there occurs fusion of 2 male gametes and female gametes, and there occurs the combinations of DNA from 2 different individuals, and this combination of DNA can variations allow to the individuals to adapt constantly changes and challenging environments. Sexual reproduction is a beta mode of reproduction. It is also the formation of new variants by the combination of the DNA from 2 different individuals, typically 1 of each sex. It involves a fusion of the male and the female gametes to produce variants which are not identical to their parents and to themselves. These variations allows the individuals to adapt to constantly changing and challenging environments. Also, it leads to the evolution of better suited organisms, which ensures greater survival of the species. That means the combination of DNA from two different parents produce a variance. That means variations into their characters. These variants ensure the individuals to adapt their constantly changing and challenging environments. And in asexual reproduction there occurs no variance like this, and this why the sexual reproduction is more better than the asexual reproduction. On the contrary, asexual reproduction allow very little or no variation at all. As a result, the individual produce are exact copies of their parents and themselves. Now, what is vegetative propagation? Give two suitable example. Vegetative propagation means reproduction. Vegetative propagation is found in the plants, and vegetative propagation means reproductions which involves the production of seeds or does not involve the production of seeds or spores. That means in vegetative propagation there occurs no seeds or spore formations. It is done by the vegetative parts of the plant, such as runners, rhizomes, suckers, tubers, etc. Now, vegetative propagation is a mode of asexual reproduction in which new plants are obtained from the vegetative parts of plants. It does not involve the production of seeds or spores for the propagations of new plants. Vegetative parts of the plants such as runners, rhizomes, sucker, tuber, etc. can be used as propagules for the rising new plants. That means from the vegetative parts the new individuals develops. The example of vegetative reproductions are eyes of potato and leaf buds of the bryophyllum. What happens in case of potato? In the surface of the potato, they are develop some eye-like structure. This eye or bud-like structure, when it's come contact with the moist soil, it becomes grow up and produce a new plants. The surface of a potato has several buds called eyes. Each of these buds, when buried in soil, develops into a new plants, which is identical to their parent plants. This is the structure of eyes of potatoes. These are the eyes and these are new plants. Now, leaf buds of bryophyllum. The leaves of the bryophyllum plants bear several adventitious buds on their margins. These leaf buds have the ability to grow and develops into their plants when the leaves get detached from the plants and come in contact with the moist soil. So, in case of leaf buds, when they come contact with the soils, they become grower and produce new plants. Now, why are offsprings of oviparous animals at a greater risk as compared to offsprings of viviparous animals? Oviparous animals lay eggs outside their body. As a result, the eggs of these animals are under continuous threat from various environmental factors. That means when oviparous animals lay eggs outside the bodies, that means in the environment, it can be destroyed by some predator or other environmental factors. That's why it has a highly risk. On the other hand, in viviparous animals, the development of the egg takes place inside the body of the female. That means in the viviparous animals, the egg development occurs inside the body of a female. That means there is no threat of the destructions. Hence, the offsprings of an egg-laying or oviparous animals is at greater risk as compared to offspring of a viviparous animals which gives birth to its young ones.